So I will allow everyone to, you can directly unmute yourself and talk if it is needed, but maintain the decorum of the meeting. Oh. Deepika, please mute yourself.
Okay, sir.
I think we can start now. How many of you have joined the last session? Switch back and forth. That's the problem of this. Chalo, we can start. I hope some of you will join. I mean, but we will start. So this is the second week assignment of this Introduction to Professional Scientific Communication, and my name is Ubaid Tariq. I'm a PMRF scholar from IIT Kanpur, and I will be taking these live sessions on Saturdays. So Saturday evening from 7 to 9 p.m. On every Saturday, I will take it up to 4 weeks. So today is the second week assignment. So I will first give the brief introduction, and after that we will go to the assignment or these problem solving part. So this is the interactive session. So you can unmute yourself. You can write in a chat box. You can directly raise your hand, whatever you want. But this is meant to be the interactive session. So try to interact, try to ask the questions or whatever doubts you have. So it will be the it will be the great session. So first we will start with the research. As in the last session, I told you about the hypothesis and other things, how to build the hypothesis, what is the importance of hypothesis. So all these things. And you know that this professional scientific communication, this is mainly scientific communication for the research purpose. So what is the research? Why we need to do the research? So first we will start with this. So there are different ways to define the research, and you want to search for new things, you want to explore, you want to solve the problems. But the definition of the research is a systemic means of problem solving. It's not the just random mean whatever the problem there is, you randomly solve it. But if there is a systemic thing, if there is a systemic means of it, for example, some proper guidelines, some steps are there. If you follow those steps, then this is the research is a systemic mean of solving the problems. And there are five key characteristics of this. One is the systemic, that I already told you, that the research process has some guidelines, some setup is there, and that is in the systemic way. So you have to follow that. And the research, it should be logical. But I already have taught you about the inductive and deductive reasoning. It should be induction or deduction, whatever. So you may recall that. In the induction you may have after in induction part, it should be logical. There should be some logic behind it. In induction part you have some you observe some things and then do the research. And in deduction part you have some theory, you the literature. On the basis of that theory you will frame your hypothesis for the research. It should be empirical. That means it should be evidence based. You have to go through the literature, search for the evidences. It should be it should be reductive, so it should be generalized. So after doing the research, you should able to you should be able to generalize it to the, if you're focusing on something, but after on the basis of those results, you should be able to generalize it. And it should be replicable. So on replicable means if you perform it in the same conditions, the results should be same. So on the basis of that, because of that replicability, methodology is important. And and reporting that methodology, reporting this all this as this is a systemic process. So reporting of this research is important, and in the form of journal publications and conference publications, some scientific reports, different types of things are there in which you can report this so that it can be it can be replicable by some other group can replicate it, some other group can verify it, reviewers can verify it. So research structure, this research it can be it should be quantifiable when you do some when you are doing something, doing some research, you should be able to quantify it by using different tools, different experiments, and then after quantification, verify using different experiments and different types of experiments. Same thing, verify using different sets of experiments, and they're replicable. You yourself and some other group in the world, the research in the same condition, it should be replicable, and you should be able to defend it. Like I said, the logical, it should be logical, so it should be defendable. Why you are doing the research? What is the need? What problem is it solving? All these things comes in that. So this research is a cyclic process. First on maybe inductive reasoning or deductive reasoning on the basis of those you select your hypothesis, maybe on the basis of a literature which is available, and or you were some of your experience. On the basis of those you formulate a question, and after formulating a question, you select an appropriate research design, form the hypothesis, and do some experiments, collect data, interpret your results. And after interpreting, you conclude something and you publish. Then some other another person or another group, they came and they will check your papers or all the other papers related to this. They review it, or they may after your step is a step-by-step process. After your publication, so they may find some of the further question on this. So they formulate on the basis of that question, they formulate the hypothesis and they do the research. So it's a cyclic process. So basics of how to start a research and when to start a research. So research is just well, if you talk about the common science, research is just like the common science. You have to start with the common sense. So in common sense, there are some of the questions like why you need to do something. After answering the why, so how you can do it, what are the expectations after doing that thing. Here we are talking about research. What are the expectations? Then we do some things to analyze and collect the data, and then interpret it. What does it mean? So all these things come in that. So if we model this common sense, these questions in the common sense directly to the research model. So why you want to do this? So it comes in the this research question after you uh, why you want to do it. There should be the research question. So why you want to do research on that question? What is the impact of that? So on the basis of that, you develop the theory and how you can do it. Identify the variables, methodology, how you can do it. So when it is clear, then you can develop the hypothesis. In hypothesis, you define that if we do this thing in that way, so these will be the results. So hypothesis, it's just like hypothesis is just like your thinking ability, your common sense ability. On the basis of the research question, on the basis of the literature, on the basis of the variables. So after reading all of these things, you identify that if I do this, if I give, for example, this drug, this disease will be cured. This is the hypothesis. In hypothesis, you give some of the expected outcomes. What will be the outcomes? So those outcomes will be positive after testing this hypothesis, and they may be negative also. But you have to choose the hypothesis in such a way that most of the times the your hypothesis will be beneficial for you if you are doing the research for your PhD or some degree. So after identifying the hypothesis, you tested the hypothesis, evaluate the results, and after evaluating results, you publish it, do critical literature, critical review of those. So one of the example of this model of the research. So some of the examples of is given here. Like first you observe. For example, this is one example. Your desktop PC monitor turns black and the PC is silent. PC is silent. So this is the observation. You found the observation. On the basis of that, you formulate a question. What is wrong with the PC? So this is the question. Now hypothesis maybe because of the power cut. Now you formulate one hypothesis because of the power cut. The PC was shut down, and this maybe one hypothesis. One hypothesis maybe PC maybe have crashed, or PC may be in hibernate mode. These are all the hypotheses. On the basis of this question or observation, you can formulate different hypotheses, and all these hypotheses you can then check. Then you can check, you can test the hypothesis. For example, this hypothesis you can check by checking the electricity, by checking the PC, or what in which mode this is, and then after that you can conclude that because of which of these reasons the PC has gone black, the screen has gone black. So in research also it is like the example, it is also it is the same, like initial ideas often you review the literature, you have some initial ideas after because of on the basis of those ideas, though you read the literature, and on the basis of that literature you observe some things, you search the existing literature, and on the basis of these observations and on the basis of these literature survey, you define the problem statement, and on the basis of that problem statement, you frame your hypothesis, and then you start doing your research. So this is all the cyclic phenomenon. So this research, these both aspects, they can be also put in the paper format. So when you do all these things, like research question, develop hypothesis, all these things as a so in the paper writing, when you write this, I already told you the writing is the main goal. It should be your if you do any research, if it is published, then it has a more impact that people will accept it, and it will go to different this worldwide. Everyone can access it. So this paper, whenever you write the paper or any report, it also has the same format. For example, in introduction, you will write why you are doing it. Uh, on the after writing the why, what research problem you are solving, you will write about the literature survey you have done in the introduction part, and you have to come up to that line in which you say that now you are solving this problem, so that will be your hypothesis, and after hypothesis you write how you will do it, expectations, what will be what will be the expected outcomes. All of this in your paper will be the methodology part, and results part you collect the data, do experiments, that all these things will be in the results part, and what is the inference of these, what is the impact, and conclusion, future prospects, all these come in the conclusion part. So this is the paper format. When you do a research, this you have to frame all your things in the paper format also. I have already told you about the hypothesis, but we will learn some more things about the hypothesis. So a hypothesis can be defined as a tentative explanation of a research problem, a possible outcome of a research, or an educated guess about the research outcome. So hypothesis is like that. In hypothesis, you are not saying that this will happen, or for example, hypothesis can be, I will show you some of the examples also. Hypothesis can be also this, like uh, because of taking the drug, this may happen, or but this is not the hypothesis. But in hypothesis, after reading the literature, you give some of the statement. So that statement is positive. You are saying that this will happen, but this can happen. So after that, you have to prove that. So a hypothesis is a statement or explanation that is suggested by the knowledge or observations, but has not yet been proved or disproved. So hypothesis can be proved or disproved, but you cannot frame hypothesis only just because of some experience, but you should have proper background about that, proper explanation about that, so proper knowledge about. On the basis of that, the hypothesis can be formulated. So this is the some of the paper which has shown that effect of the hypothesis generation on the hypothesis testing and rule discovery task. These are how strong is your hypothesis, on the basis of that, impact of your research, impact of your research will be depend on the hypothesis. If you spend more time on the hypothesis, you review a lot of literature, if your hypothesis will be strong, then your research will be strong. So hypothesis, it can be tested. I have already told about it. It can be tested, verifiable. It can be positive or negative. Hypothesis are not moral or ethical questions. You cannot ask any ethical questions in the hypothesis. It should be backed with the proper background of literature. It is neither too specific nor too generalized. So not too specific, not too generalized. You have to focus on what you are doing you have to focus on your research question or research problem. It is predictive, and it is a prediction of consequences. So you can predict what, on the basis of what you know, what you have read, what will be the consequence. Predict those consequences, but you don't know those consequences yet. You don't know the results yet, but you predict the results in the hypothesis. So it can be even proved false. That's so this already told you the hypothesis is very important. On the basis of hypothesis, the impact of your thesis will depend on the hypothesis. If the hypothesis is excellent, then the outcomes, methodology, results will be good. If the hypothesis is not good, so you will not be able to generate the good results, because on the base of those hypotheses, you build up your data and experiments. So some of the examples of the hypothesis are like this. People with high sugar diets and sedentary activity levels are more likely to develop depression. So in this hypothesis, directly saying that the people who take more sugar, who don't have that much activity, or they are more likely to develop the depression. So now this hypothesis, when we test it, so we may there are two ways. For example, we may check the this whatever, we may do some surveys on the different people. We will do some surveys and include people in that surveys and check how much sugar they are taking, what is their lifestyle, and on the basis of that we check some of the parameters. Are they facing any depression problem or not? And this can be done, this can be tested like that. This another hypothesis is younger people who are regularly exposed to green outdoor areas have better subjective well-being than older adults who have the limited exposure to green spaces. So this is the hypothesis. So younger people who play outdoor in the green and do some activities outside, as compared to adults who have limited exposure to the green spaces, the greenery. So they have less well-being. So this can be also tested using some different surveys, and on the base of that surveys, so you can then conclude that yes, this is correct or this is not correct. So another hypothesis is antibiotic-loaded injectable hydrogel increases the rate of wound healing and promotes skin regeneration in diabetic rats. So this is the hypothesis. This is the one of the biology research hypothesis. So if you load antibiotic in a hydrogel uh, and treat these diabetic rats which have some wound in their body with this, so it promotes the wound healing. So you can take the two groups, one rats in which you one group in which you implant this antibiotic loaded hydrogel. In one group you may implant only hydrogel, or in one group you may not give any treatment, just the bandage, normal bandage which in the this which in the clinics. So you can then check, because is this hypothesis correct or not. So these are some of the examples of hypotheses. So this is a task for all of you. You have to propose a hypothesis based on this data. So just you can unmute yourself and you can just tell me, or you can write in the chat box. On the basis of data, but this is the osteoporosis. There are osteoporosis cases. These are the healthy controls. So In osteoporosis, this is the data in which the osteoporosis patients, there are 80 patients in this, there are 178 patients in this group. So some of the data is what is the age of those patients, body weight, cholesterol level, alcohol consumption, some other things are there. On the basis of that, you have to formulate the hypothesis. So I will go back to this. So I will share this so that you will be able to read it. So you write in the chat box or you can unmute yourself directly. Anyone? In this week's course, this was there. Yes, anyone answer? You may have also seen this in the this week's second week's lecture. So there are two groups. One is the osteoporosis case. One is the healthy control. So we want to check, but these things have they any effect on the osteoporosis? For example, osteoporosis is a condition in which the porosity or density of the bones decrease, and when the density of the bones decrease, they are now susceptible to fractures. So in old age or some other conditions, this osteoporosis usually occurs. So in both the groups, the age in one it is 62 is 64, body weight is mentioned, cholesterol level is I think same on both. Uh, Blood glucose level, fasting it is almost same, little bit higher in healthy control. Blood pressure is almost same, little bit higher in healthy control. Number of children and monthly income is there. In osteoporosis, it is more monthly income as compared to healthy controls. Working life, work for living. Are they working or they are just housekeeping? So the 79%, most of them are healthy. Those who are working, smokers, most of uh, them are healthy. So alcohol consumption, exercise. So this is all the data that is provided. On the basis of that data, you have to formulate the hypothesis. So one hypothesis can be like that. Monthly income, for example, here you can see that in osteoporosis is monthly income that you can give the hypothesis when the monthly income is higher, there is a chance of there's a chances of getting the osteoporosis, maybe because of the sedentary lifestyle or those who have the higher income. So this is the this can be hypothesis, one of the hypotheses from this. Higher the family income, higher the probability of getting osteoporosis. Here you can see that uh, those who have the osteoporosis have more income as compared to this. So on the basis of that, we can formulate the hypothesis and then we can check this hypothesis. Second hypothesis can be work for living. Those who work for living, having a job, or at less risk of developing osteoporosis. Here you can see that there is a significant difference. Those who work for living, those who are working, so they have less chance of osteoporosis. So this can be one of the hypotheses among this because in this only 39% are working. Here 65 are working. So in healthy there are more working. That means there's less. This is a healthy group. That means 65% don't have this osteoporosis. The smoking or alcohol consumption, smokers and drinkers are at low risk of developing osteoporosis. So here, because here the smokers and drinkers, there are very less here, and they are at low risk. And here the healthy, there are more smokers and drinkers, and they are healthy. So, but there is a problem in this. For example, whenever you formulate any hypothesis, you have to check all the things, all the variables. For example, here you can see that when you do the thorough literature survey, for you can see that here the data is not good, because in this data, in the osteoporosis group, there are only 80 these people, and in this there are 178 people. That means more than double are there. So there will be the bias. For example, maybe here because of lot of people here, the percentage may be high, because maybe some of them have given, when a lot of people give the some rating, maybe more lot of them may be healthier, or so this is the one bias here. Second bias is here male to female ratio, that male to female, here are more males as compared to female in this group. And here there's equal number of male female, and this also can create a bias in the research. For example, here, as there are more males, there are more males, because of their, maybe males are working more as compared to females. So maybe the income is high on the base of that. This monthly income is high. So that because of that reason the monthly income is high, if you formulate the hypothesis like the hypothesis that we have formulated, higher the family income, higher the probability of getting osteoporosis. If you formulate on the basis of this data in ignoring all these things, so you formulate the hypothesis, you spend a lot of time in uh, proving that hypothesis, you're doing the experiments, and later on you will find that it was because of the some other reason. So that hypothesis may not be true because of this reason. So you have to thoroughly study, thoroughly check the data, and on the basis of that, you have to formulate the hypothesis. So you have to be very much cautious about formulating the hypothesis, because if you formulate the wrong hypothesis, if you not properly check the literature, you formulate some hypothesis uh, that has some bias in there in the literature. So later on, when you spend 2 or 3 years working on that hypothesis, and later on you will not get the results positive, that on the base of that, though you may have a think that some these may be the result, but you will not get those because of the improper literature survey. So now we will move towards the writing of the report, writing of all these research things. So the typical structure of the research report, it depends on some of these things. The way you organize your research report is determined by the content, by the readers, and the purpose. So content means what type of research you are doing. On the basis of that, you write it differently. For example, humanities, those who are doing the literature, who are studying the literature, they will write differently, and who are doing the biology research or some engineering research, they will write it differently on the basis of their content. And on the basis of readers also, for example, you are writing some report for the supervisor, for the different researchers, for the conference, you may write the paper for the conference, or some special decision makers. For example, after working on your project, you may have to send the scientific, you may have to send the report to these funding agencies, and there you will write it differently. So readers is also important, to whom you are addressing, and the purpose. What is the purpose of your writing? If you are writing the paper or something, some report, something else, so you will write it differently. In addition to this, on the basis of the on these aspects are also affect your research. For example, national cultural preference. For example, those who are living in India, those who are in US and different countries, they may have some of the guidelines from the government. For example, Indian map. So if you are living in India, we will use Indian political map, or we will use the data that is given by the Indian government. So US may prefer the using the US data, different statistics that are released by the government. So national cultural preference all is also important. Discipline specific conventions, like I already said, different disciplines, like different departments, different streams. So they have that some different conventions that they have to follow. So difference according to the purpose, like on which journal, on difference on the base of the genre. For example, in which journal you are publishing it in which magazine or whatever thing in which conference. They may have some guidelines. On the basis of that, you have to submit. You have to write your this report or research paper. So these are some of the parts of the research paper. For example, important first is the introduction to the topic. You have to give the introduction in which you have to give all the background of your research, why you have done it, why it is important, what will be the impact of this. You have to you have to cite all the literature that is available that you have read that is relevant to you. So you have to connect all these things. Then what will be the impact? And on the basis of that, you have to give the overall introduction of your topic. Then on the basis of the problem and all the background that you have given, on the basis of that, you will write your hypothesis, define the questions, define the objectives, what the things uh, you are going to do, what you have done. Then study design. This will be the methodology part. So different experiments, whatever you do to prove that hypothesis, different experiments in the methodology part or study design, you will write that. Then you will write the results, and in the results section, you will also write the observations and interpretations, discussion. All these things are part of it, and we will go all of these in this lecture series. So first, we will start with the overall writing, how we should overall, but whatever things, whatever the research paper we write, whatever it be, whether it will be the introduction, hypothesis, study design, whatever it will be. So we have to follow some of the guidelines, some of the important things that are very that will drastically improve your writing skills. So if I read this sentence for you. I looked everywhere, from this corner of the room to the other, and even below my desk and cart, but I could not find the pen that I used this morning in the very same room. So if you read this sentence, when I was reading, I looked everywhere. No one is, no one have any idea what I am saying, that why I looked everywhere from one corner to another corner. Still no idea why I am looking for one corner to another corner. Then after this, I there is some idea that because I have lost my pen, so I'm looking everywhere. So this is not the good writing. Good writing is start from something which is known, which is simple. Like I lost my pen. So this is the simple information. Now, if I write anything, so the readers they can connect this. I lost the pen that I used this morning. I searched the pen in the nook and corner of my room, but I could not find it. So this is called cohesion in the writing or narration. So these are some of the principles that you have to follow. So because of this sentence, but these both are conveying the same message, the above sentence and below this. But you can see the difference. Here, the reader will not adhere, will not be interested to read this because after 4 to 10 to 15 words, he is getting the idea why you have written this sentence. But here you have in the first you have written why you are doing this. So some of the principles like given and new, creating the focus, uh, and light and heavy, these are the things that you have to follow. So we will some of the exam one of the example is of given and new is where is your home. If someone asks you your address or if you write your address on a parcel or something like that, so you have to write in such a way. For example, you cannot if a person asks from if you're in US, if a person asks where from are you, if you say Firozabad or something like that, so they will not able to know that. So you have to formulate it like that. I live in India. In India, there's a one city called Uttar Pradesh. In Uttar Pradesh, there's a one town of Firozabad. I live there. So you have to first start with the given on the base of audience, what they know. So given is my everyone know India, so you will tell India. Then they can able to follow it. That India there is a one state, there is a one district. So this is the given and new principle. You cannot directly start. I live in Firozabad. That is. That is the one. That is one city of the Uttar Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh in India. But this is not the way you have to write it. You have to start with the given and new principle, like the above sentence. Creating the focus or topical progression. How I reach you. This is same like given in you, creating the focus. You have, if someone tells you how I can reach you, so you have to start with the example. If you write something in the postcard, so it will first reach to India, then to Delhi, then to Uttar Pradesh, then to. So you have to create the focus. You have to first start with the broader thing, and then narrowing to your thing. So light and heavy. Light and heavy means first start with the those sentences, those things which are known which are very common, which you think that most of the audience will know, and then keep on explaining and going on the those aspects or those terms which are more specific or which maybe some of the readers may not know. So it will give the proper flow to this article. So some of the examples of given and new. So here is this readable? These two part A and part B of the text. Please unmute, or you can, are you able to read it?
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
This is a task for you. You read these both of these texts and then tell me which one is following the given and new principle, text A or text B. You read it properly. So in next slide I have zoomed it. Maybe here I will read it. Uh, Text A, the application of science to the creation of a useful devices to meet the needs of the society is called mechanical engineering. The design, manufacture, operation, and maintenance of a wide variety of machinery are the focus of the mechanical engineer's work. Jet engines and uh, and jet engines and minute instruments for the use in medicine and amongst the products designed by the mechanical engineers. Engineering drawings of the devices which are to be produced and created by the mechanical engineers. You can see that all of these things uh, they have just started from new. For example, when this sentence is written, you can observe this when the sentence is written, it is written just in the opposite way. Mechanical engineering is kept at the end. First, for example, engineering drawing. If you start with this sentence, the application of science to the creation of useful devices to meet the needs of the society is called mechanical engineering. Is called when you reach to mechanical engineering, then you will be able to know what this sentence is talking about. Before that, you have no clue what this is. So this is not the correct way of writing. If you go with this, mechanical engineering is the application of the science to the creation of useful devices to meet the needs of the society. So this is giving directly the focus. Uh, you know the mechanical engineering. So now you know that in what sense this sentence is, this paragraph is. So this is related to mechanical engineering. You have now idea in your mind that this whole topic will be about mechanical engineering. So you will be able to follow it. So here, what are you thinking? Text B is written well. Everyone agrees about it. So here you can, but this is a great example of this paragraph. It is an example of given and new. So in every sentence, here it is started with the given and new, but here it's at every sentence it's opposite. Like here it is highlighted here. Like in the first part, this is all the new information: the application of science, the design, manufacturing, operation, and maintenance, jet engines, and this is all the new. My engineering drawings, manual work, all these are CAD design, but this is not explained properly. So because of that, the readers may not adhere to this type of writing. And in this case, the given information is given first. For example, mechanical engineering is the application. It's always started with something giving in like here you can see right this and earlier drawing were made manually, but nowadays they are produced using the computer CAD. So now you can if a person who don't know what is CAD, but after reading this sentence, my as it is written that it is it's related to the drawing, so they will be able to understand it what is the CAD. So this given and new principle is very important. So next is creating the focus. For example, creating the focus it is same to given and new. Given means in given most of the things they are the common. They are less complex, and the new ones they may be complex. You may be going in the deep some new information some. Uh, so here the creating focus is like that. The topic, you have to start your topic with the with the given or with the common things, and then you can comment on those. You can now explain those. So this is the same as the creating focus. So the topics of your titles of your sub headings, you have to keep them like this. So you have to give the given information in the top, and then you have to comment. You have to explain all these things. In first sentence, you have to write some sentence, then you have to comment. You have to follow up. You have to write 2 to 3 sentences explaining this topic. So another is light to heavy. For example, here the example of light to heavy is all of these given a new light to heavy or creating focus. They are same, but they are explained in a different way. But all of these focus in on the same thing. First, you have to write those things which are more common. For example, global warming is threatening polar bears with starvation by shortening their hunting season. So this is must started with the heavy. For example, some of the readers may not know about global warming. So, but writing it like this, climate change is threatening polar bears with the starvation by shortening their hunting season. Then you can elaborate, and in next sentence you can write that because of the climate change, there is a global warming which has an impact on this. Now you can write it like this. So here is one another example of light to heavy principle. So here are 3 versions of data which is represented in 3 different versions. So which of the version you think it's is making more sense or it's easy to understand? You can directly unmute yourself. Anyone? From this you can see that there is a correlation between the time and temperature. So in all these things there is at some time there is a temperature, sometime there is a temperature here. But if you see like this, representing like this time and temperature, you see there is nothing, well, you can understand nothing from this. Time is equal to 0, temperature 25, time 6, temperature 29. But this is not represented very well. But here you can see that time when the time is increasing 0, 3, 6, 9, the temperature is also increasing. Here the temperature is increasing and time is increasing, but this is not making the sense because my time, my first thing we have to give that variable which is in our control. For example, time when we measure the time, so we check this temperature on different time points. So it is in our control. So 0, 2, 3. Then this is the variable one. We can choose this one at what time we want to choose it, but we don't know this. So at different temperature, what is the time is not making that much sense as compared to this version 2. At different time, what is the temperature? So this. is one of the example of light to heavy. You have to keep all the things that make the sense. So now we will come to this writing the paper. Can anyone tell me in this meeting today there is a very less participation. I don't know, but your participation is very important. So this your attendance actually will be noted. So you have to attend these sessions. So this will have your this have impact on your these grades and other things. On the course certification, it's very important. So
Sir, does attendance contain marks?
so if you are registering for the course, so it will definitely there will be impact. So tell me what I was saying. So I want to ask you one thing. So if we are you may have read a lot of research papers or some of you may have written it also the different research papers. So after writing the research papers, so what are the content? What are the broad the subheadings in the research paper? Can anyone tell me? My different parts of the research paper.
Can I contribute to this?
Yes.
First, we have the abstract, then introduction, then methodology, data, then I am dealing with spatial science, spatial data
Hmm.
science. So
Hmm.
I'm going to say the about the study area, then the results, and after that there should be conclusion.
Hmm. So have you published any paper till now?
No, I'm working on two papers, so
Okay.
that's the main reason I have joined
Hmm.
this course.
Okay. Okay. Great. So if you start writing the paper, what you will write the first? What among these section, among these different parts, which part you will write the first? Can you give me some seconds?
Introduction.
Abstract is written first.
Anyone else?
I'll write the introduction first because
Uh,
abstract is the summary of the research paper that should be written in the last.
mhm. So you will write introduction first. After that, what you will write?
After that, I'll write about the data and my study area, and after
Hmm.
that, how I have uh, how I went through getting my results. That is the methodology.
Okay. And Gurneet, why you think that abstract should be written first? It's not like that. Abstract is first written there in the paper, so it is written first. It's not like that. But what are the thoughts of others? Like
First is the title.
first is the title. Okay. Any other? All of you are wrong. No one is correct.
Sir, actually, we haven't written any paper yet,
Uh-huh.
so don't
Okay.
have
Okay.
any idea.
Mm-hmm. Yes. 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 I completely understand that. So the thing which I will show you, it is very, very much important. It will greatly affect your writing and help you to complete it very quickly. First, you will write your methodology. Why you will write your methodology? Why you have done all the experiments. You know all the things about the methodology. At the time of performing, you have optimized your experiments. You have written different things. What I have done, how I have done, what are the variables, what was the temperature, what was the time. You have all the information. So first, start writing with a methodology. This has the two benefits. One is that you know that, and second thing is it is a very bigger part, and there is no difficulty in writing this. No one will face the difficulty in writing this. So it will give the some of the accomplishment like I have written the most of the part. So you will feel encouraged. And second part, it's very important to write it first because all the things can start with the methodology. How you have done this. So after that, you write your results on the basis of methodology. Every time, if you have read different papers, So on the base of methodology, on the base of methods, they write the results in the same sections. So it is somewhat like the methodology. They are just uh, continue with the methodology. You can see different papers. They usually continue with the methodology and write the results in results what we get. So results are also easy comparatively. So you have to write what you have got. And after that, you will write introduction. So on the base of the methodology and on the base of the results, you will write the introduction. So you cannot directly start with the introduction. So you may have done the a lot of work. You may have you know that what your results. Maybe the person who said that I will write the introduction. Maybe he knows what are the methods he has used. What are the results. But when you write it and frame it in a proper way, when you make the panels group some of the results in the same panel and some you will have that some different idea how now I have to give the background but after compiling all the results, uh, you may think of different direction. How I can now take the background, in which direction I should give the background. All the things will come. So then it will be easier to write the introduction. And after writing the introduction, so in the introduction, you have for writing the introduction, you have to read the papers because you have to correlate it. You have to go give the background, literature survey you have to do. So after that, discussion will be helpful because in discussion, what the this person do, he actually correlates his or her results with the literature. So if the person has already done the literature survey introduction, so it will be easy for him to write the discussion because he has only written the introduction. So he has searched the literature in direction of his results and methodology. Well, all of you can check the different papers. You can see that most of the papers who have written the introduction, same way they have written the discussion. In discussion, they have written some of the same lines. They have cited some of the same papers which are there in the introduction. So it will be with a great help. So that is why you have to start with the results and methodology. On the basis of that, you write the introduction. Then correlating introduction and methodology and correlating introduction, method, and results in the discussion part. And when all of this is done, you know all of this reduction methodology now paper is done. You have followed some scheme, you have followed some uh, this. So now you know what should be the abstract. Now you just have to you don't have to search anything. You don't have to do any literature survey. You just have to write small parts from. For example, abstract also contains some parts from introduction, some part from method, some part from results, some part from discussion, some part from conclusion. So you just have to take some of your important results which have great impact. So you have to write those. You have to write some of the important methods or one general method, introduction, background, all of these in one or two lines. So then abstract will be very much easy to write. Then at the end, when everything is compiled, you have to write your title. So now you know all your papers, so it will be easy for you to give the title to this paper. So title is never written first. So people think that first I will give the title, but that title you will randomly choose. But uh, you may some of you may have experience if some of you have given the title early, but when you write the paper, always you change the title at the end because this writing all these things have given you some of the vision, some of the idea what should be the title. And in the process of writing you search different papers, different literature, see the titles of those, so that will also give you the idea. So following this way, so it will be the great help all of you. Does everyone agree to this? Is it logical or
Yes.
not? Yes. So now we will start with the abstract and then we will study about all of these things: introduction, method, how to write results, discussion, title, everything. So we will start first with abstract. So abstract is a summary of anything, book, article, speech. So this is the abstract for the abstract. So this is the paper in which they have this is a paper about how to write the abstract. So this is the abstract for that paper. So the first sentence of an abstract should clearly introduce the topic of the paper, so the readers can relate to others work with. I will have this is wait. So this is the summary of this, all of these things. This is the summary. So in the abstract have all the content that's in the paper. It have background also, it has hypothesis, it has research question, summary, methods, all the things. But in a very concise manner, in a very short, important things you have to write here. But it contains all the things. So it should be written after you write whole the paper. So abstract contains background information. It contains outline of what was investigated in the experiment. It contains hypothesis, summary of methods, summary of results, and summary of discussion. So this is the example of one of the abstract that is written well. So all of these different things are highlighted. For example, many plants in Australia have their seeds buried in order for the species to survive fires. The seeds start to germinate under the soil at certain temperatures. So this is all the things, these things they are taken from the literature, and this is the background information. Seeds of Acacia terminalis and some this I don't this another plant were examined in this experiment. So these are difficult to pronounce. So this is the outline of this experiment. How now after this is the method. Why you have done experiment on this. So they have chosen these two seeds for their experiment. So it was hypothesized that the seeds need a heat for the germination to start. You see, in this hypothesis, they have directly written the result statement. They have directly written that they need heat from. But uh, why they have written that? Because they have written the literature or they have observed it that they need heat for the germination. On the basis of that, they have given the hypothesis, and hypothesis is always written like this. Seeds of two species were treated in hot and cold water and led to start germinating. So this is their methodology, how they have done it. So then results. This one plant, Acacia terminalis, showed a significant response in germination after the hot water treatment, while this another plant did not. Neither seed showed the response in the germination. This is the result. What after doing the experiment, the result they have done. But here you can see that this is just only one experiment, only one result. But here, when you people will do the research, you will do your masters, you will do a lot of experiments, lot of results will be there. So it is not feasible that every result will be included in the abstract. So what you have to do, you have to give overall methodology, overall what was your idea to do, what you are looking for, that methodology you can do, and some of the important experiment, maybe some of the very important experiment about among all of your experiments that you can write, and results you can write overall results and same some of the important experiments that are important among all of the results that you can write that you can more specify, but you can generally write all the other results. But one of the experiment or two of the experiments that are more relevant or that are more that they have shown the good results, that those you can specify in the abstract. So the readers when they read it, they find it interesting. And then discussion, summary and discussion, the results of these two plants were unexpected, but many of the experiment factors such as water temperature, length, this is the overall conclusion. So this is the every time, every paper, whether it be paper for research, whether it is a research paper, whether submitting abstract for a conference or presenting something. So every time if you want to write abstract, you have to write in this way. There are six key sentences of the abstract, the same way that I told you that introduction in one sentence, what is the topic, then study of the problem you tackle. So you have to write the problem, you have to summarize in one sentence. The research question, then explain the research question, how you have tackled it. That means you have to write the methodology, and one sentence you will write the results, and then at the end you will write the impact of this or future prospects of this. All this in one sentence. So now you have a task, you have to identify different sections of the abstract. So what I will do, I will search the paper, different papers. So you have to unmute yourself and you have to tell which part is which. Uh,
So the class which you take on Saturday and one ma'am she takes on Tuesday, both the
uh,
classes are same or are they different?
both you have to try to join both of them.
Because in the last class, what you taught last Saturday, she was also teaching the same on Tuesday.
Yes, 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 yes.
So do we
But
have
there
to
is
join both?
you have to join both the classes. So
Okay.
these live sessions are just to interact, just to recapitulate all the things that you have read, because the faculty will not be able to interact with you. So we'll choose some of the paper. So all of you have to, oh, it is already there. Some papers have the format that in abstract they will segregate these parts. For example, introduction, here the introduction is segregated already, and method is like this. But all the journals have their own instructions. And uh, we strictly have to follow those instructions. So if it is written that you segregate the parts of the extract, you have to segregate it when you submit the paper. So you cannot just write a one paragraph. So this is one journal, maybe in another journal, we check. Here it is also same. Here you can see here it is not segregated. This is the abstract. Now this is the paper, then introduction, results, methodology, everything is there. But now we will focus on the abstract. So I will copy paste it here in our meeting, in our chat box. I don't know, will it all of this will be sent? It is not full, so in second part I will write it. We start reading this. So here from NB, this is started like this. So you have to take these tasks actually seriously. I'm always, do you see that I'm recording this meeting. So all the things that activities, those who are responding, those who are not responding, those who are answering the questions, everything will be recorded. And after that, I am sending this whole recording to the NPTEL team. So they are what they are doing. They are evaluating the TAs and whole the NPTEL team. So you have to be active in these, and you have to tell your friends that join. Last time, a lot of people have joined, but here this time only 10-15 people joined. So whatever the this task I am giving, so you all have to take it seriously. Only two or three are responding. It should not be happen like this. So you read this properly. Just copy paste the different parts. For example, uh, write like this. introduction. Now copy paste the introduction part. Whatever you feel up to which line is the introduction. So copy paste it. So for example, if the introduction part is like this, so introduction. So you can send first introduction, then other things. If you don't want to send all the things at the same time, if you want to send all the things at the same time, you can send that. But this is also the correct way. At least I will get some of the responses. I will check those. My whole screen is on the recording mode, so your responses, all the things will be recorded. Are you doing it? रिएक्ट करो, कुछ कुछ तो बोलो.
तो समझ नहीं आ रहा ठीक से.
तुम्हें पूरा इसको समझना नहीं है, पेपर को पूरा समझना नहीं है, बट पेपर ऐसे देख के समझना है कि इसका इंट्रोडक्शन पार्ट कैसे है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल बायोकम्पैटिबल इंटीग्रेटेबल ड्यूअल जेल सिस्टम बेस्ड ऑन दिस is herein conceptualized and accomplished via the thiol chemistry. The elasticity of the hydrogel is determined by varying the lengths. So this sentence, ये वाला part जो है, is more or less introduction or background, but not that much. So इन्होंने यहीं पे ये हाइड्रोजल, इसमें भी उन्होंने कुछ कुछ अपना लाइन घुसाया है कि हमने इस पे काम किया है. So this is just like the introduction and they have given the hint that we are working on this. And ये है इसके बाद मेथड पार्ट. पहले अगर मेरे बोलने से पहले अगर कोई किसी ने किया तो बाद में बोलता हूँ मैं, ठीक है. बाद में जिसको समझ नहीं आया उसको मैं समझाता हूँ, बट कोशिश करो तुम लोग. यस, देखो इसने करेक्टली ये आइडेंटिफाई किया. इसके बाद ओबियसली इसके बाद मेथड होगा, तो तुम लोगों को सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है. अब तुम्हें देखना है मेथड कब तक कहाँ तक लिखा है. मेथड पार्ट. द इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ द हाइड्रोजल इज ट्यून्ड बाय वेरिंग द लेंथ ऑफ पीच. ये मेथड ही है ना, क्योंकि इन्होंने यहाँ पे किया है, बोल रहे हैं ऐसे किया है. और ड्राई वेट परसेंटेज ये भी मेथड में ही अभी तक आ रहा है. एंड फाउंड द रेंज. ये कोई कोई एक दूसरे के साथ लिंक कर सकते हैं थोड़ा सा रिजल्ट डिस्कशन तो, या एक ही सेंटेंस में दोनों. पहला पार्ट था मेथड और उसी सेंटेंस में ही अगला पार्ट मेथड, ये रिजल्ट डाल दिया. देखो यहाँ तक ये वाला पार्ट जो है ये मेथड है. देखो बहुत सारे ने लिख दिया इसमें. यू कैन नॉट कॉपी द टेक्स्ट. So if you cannot copy the text, what I can do, I will share with you this link of this paper. Directly open this abstract of this paper and copy from that. You can copy from this. So ये मैंने खुद ही लिखा है कि अभी मेथड वाला पार्ट इसमें से. Now identify the result part. देखो the co-delivery of the antibiotic is achieved where the hydrophobic drug, ये कुछ है, is entrapped in the hydrogel whereas hydrophilic antibiotic CPU is encapsulated within the. देखो ये उन्होंने बोला है, अब ये चीजें बोल रहे हैं, ये they are saying that because of when they co-deliver these two they are entrapped, that means they have studied this in the experiment. That means these are results now. ये सारे ये रिजल्ट है. The DNG with the loading ये सारे result है. All of these are results. The hybrid hydrogel. The hybrid hydrogel enable the quick release of NB and prolonged release of CAP. In vitro cell infection assay showed the antibiotic loading hydrogel enable to enable to treat bacterial infections. These all or this is the major part is the this results part, and always the major part is the results part, because you are doing a lot of experiments and methodology में तुम directly you say some of overall the what we are doing. So overall you say what is overall goal of doing this experiment, not you doing a research on this, and then results you will highlight most of the major results. So this is the concluding mark. So overall, on the basis of all these results, they have concluded that hybrid hydrogel band-aids are fabricated and exhibit better antibacterial activity compared to the commercial antibacterial band-aids. So they have fabricated these hydrogel-based band-aids and which have loaded antibiotic in this, and they have compared it with the already available band-aids that are in the market. So on the basis of they have given that they have better antibacterial property. उसे ठीक हो गया सब. So ये concluding remark हो गया. फिर last वाला sentence है remarkably the most hydrogels and hybrid hydrogels so enhanced human dermal cell proliferation and could degrade into non-toxic. So ये उन्होंने फिर एक फ्यूचर प्रॉस्पेक्ट नहीं बोल सकते बट एज अ अपने जो इन रिजल्ट दिया उसको इंटर कुछ एक इन्फ्रेंस निकाला उसके बेस पे उन्होंने ओवरऑल फिर एक लाइन लिखी है. We can write future prospects or inference or conclusion or impact of your conclusion or impact of your research. You can write in that one sentence. किसने अदिति ने मनीषा great. All of you have identified it very well. So result part is very large. Was this are you able to identify it? Was this helpful? I think अभी सबको ऐसे थोड़ा practice हो गया. So this is not a task that you have to identify in abstracts what are different parts, but when you start writing your abstracts, your own abstracts, that time these things will really help. So identifying different parts in papers of others, this will really help you, because now you know that I have to write a one line of introduction and one or two lines of methodology, then all the results depending on how much results you have, then conclusion and how they have written it, how they have very well written it, and very concise and very briefly they have written it. But not these lines can also be written in very long lines, but बहुत अच्छे से लिखा है, ठीक है ना? That these will help you, really help you. ठीक है, everyone have सबको समझ आया? इसमें कोई किसी को डाउट है? Then we can move ahead. Anyone have any doubts or not? Then move ahead. ठीक है, आई होप सबको ये समझ आ गया होगा और सबने इसमें प्रैक्टिस किया होगा. So now we will move ahead. ठीक है, ग्रेट. आई होप सबको अब समझ आया होगा और जिसने भी नहीं किया है, जिसको समझ नहीं आया, वो इन सबके रेस्पॉन्सेज एक बार देख लो. मैंने भी ऑलरेडी बोला ये सब. So ये हो गया एब्स्ट्रैक्ट का प्रैक्टिस तुम लोगों का आइडेंटिफाइंग डिफरेंट सेक्शंस. नाउ यू विल बी एबल टू write those different sections also because real time you have checked that what you have identified what are the different parts. Now it will be easy for you to write it. So now we will move towards the questions. So everyone, I expect every one of you to please answer these, maybe in the chat box or so. The series of the image serves as the illustration for. So these are series of images A, B, C, D. So in D, what should be the image? So you don't have to answer that, but you have to answer that what type of reasoning is this? Inductive reasoning, deductive reasoning, common sense, or discovery?
Sir, deductive reasoning.
No, wrong. Everyone can unmute and tell because I have to switch back to this.
So deductive reasoning.
So have we both joined the last lecture or not? Last live session?
No, sir, this is the first lecture I have joined.
Mhm. The deductive reasoning is actually not the answer, but I will show you. I have kept those slides also, so that if some of you have not joined those, you will get an idea what is the inductive and deductive reasoning. Anyone else? Some of you have commented. No, it's not the common sense. Common sense is just the internal. Common sense is just how you feel. What you feel is good. This is the perfect way, or this is the correct, which has a logic. The sense of perception, imagination, or sense of observation. But this is not, common sense is involved in this, obviously. But yes, this is the inductive example of inductive reasoning, and how I will show you that. I will recapture this thing. So inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. In inductive reasoning is both of the types of you can say the research, or both are the two directions in which we can do the research or make our hypothesis. And inductive reasoning is the you have to observe something and observe the patterns, and on the basis of the patterns you have to give your hypothesis. For example, you something if you give hypothesis, for example, in winters because of the cold, the grass grows slower. For example, this is the this you have observed. Every year you observed it in winter because of the cold grass which in the ground it does not grow properly. So this is not something that you have read it. It's not something that is in the literature, but you have observed it. But now if you want to check it, or you want to check what is the logic, what is the reason behind this, or is this correct or not. So on the basis of these observations and patterns that you have identified, that you observed, you will formulate the hypothesis that uh, cold weather or less low temperature decreases the growth of the grass. This is the hypothesis. So on the basis of the hypothesis, now you will do some experiments to check this, is this correct or not. So all this is the inductive reasoning. So inductive reasoning helps you to form the theory. So now if you did some of the experiments and you identified that Yes, it is correct. Because of the cold, there is the less growth of the grass in a field. Now you have the theory. Yes, cold, less temperature decreases the growth of the grass. And now someone, on the basis of your experiments, on the basis of the theory that you have formulated, you have published that, someone will formulate the hypothesis on the basis of those, on the basis of that theory or on the basis of that literature. For example, now some group wants to check how this, in the next step, some group wants to check now how this actually is happening in the grass. Why? Because of the cold. Maybe some of the group, after doing a lot of literature survey, they found that the respiratory rate is decreased. This is just don't catch these words. These are correct, but I'm just framing it on no from nowhere. For example, they have done a lot of literature survey on the base of that. They have formulated the hypothesis and on the base of experiments that you have done. You have formulated a theory. They hypothesize that in the cold, the respiration or photosynthesis is less, and because of that, the grass will grow slower. Now they have moved one step ahead, but they have used your theory. They have not observed the pattern, but they have used your theory or whatever you have proved that, and now they will frame their own hypothesis that cold weather decreases the rate of photosynthesis and thus decreases the this grass growth. Now it moves one step ahead. But they are not using some observations, they are using the theory and the literature. Now it's a deductive hypothesis. Now there's a deductive reasoning. Now they will do the experiments, observations, and confirmation. So these are all the inductive and deductive, they are linked together. But actually, all of this is a cyclic process and this will go on, keep on going. So here also some of the group will, if one step is done with one research group, some of the research group will formulate the hypothesis based on all of these results and they go one step further in the research. Have you all of you understood it?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So now, second question is the image given below represents. So these are some of the images here, what they represent: verbal communication, written communication, visual communication, or without.
Sir,
C.
visual communication.
Visual communication.
Yes, some of you are writing. Yes, so visual communication is the correct answer. I will recapitulate this. So there are major three types of communication. One is the verbal, visual, and non-verbal. So in verbal communication, there are two aspects. One is the oral communication and written communication. Verbal means when you are using words. So you can directly say the words or you can write these words. So oral communication means presenting your research work in a conference or in your defense or in front of your supervisor, department, other students. So this is the oral communication. Written communication is when you are submitting your paper, communicating that your paper, communicating the abstracts or short write-ups to the conferences, or communicating your these results to the funding agencies. All of these comes in the written communication. And visual communication, it is the schematics, figures. When you will make different graphical abstracts. You represent your results in the form of schematics and figures. That all comes in the visual communication. And non-verbal communication is during the presentation, your gestures, your way of talking, and all the things comes in the this non-verbal communication. So all of these signs, most of these are in some of these are in the chemicals, for example, this danger sign, and some of they are in the construction or roads. So all of these are the forms of visual communication. So I'll make it brief. So the image represents one of the commercial advertisements for a product. Here you have to identify the man. It is wearing the white coat and the tie. What does it represent? cleanness, head of the family, research and development, and a modeling career. This is the advertisement of
Sir,
data.
cleanliness. The first option, sir.
Another? Anyone else? A company have, but this is actually the way of communication. This advertisement or the poster which the company make is the part of the communication, but this is not the scientific, but this is just the any type of communication. So all the things they have written here, like the pictures, there must be some thought behind that. This 100% protection, whatever the thing they have written. So what was the thought behind keeping this person with a white coat and tie there?
For research and development.
Research and development, sir.
Hmm.
Research and development.
Yes, yes, research and development is the correct answer. Because when anyone will see this white coat, he thinks that this is well, this product is well researched. They have done some of the research on this, or they can also correlate it is recommended by the doctor or is advised by a doctor, and doctors only advise some things that are based on the research or that have some logic behind that. So the correct answer is research and development. So these are the ways of communication, how people communicate. Just putting the person with this attire, so they are communicating something without writing it. So visual communication is also very important. Which of the following options are true definition with regard to the finding discoveries in science? So which among of these true is regarding discoveries? Finding something that had not been known before, an accidental outcome, an outcome of a well-defined and planned activity, all of the above. Which one of these?
All of the above, sir. All of the above.
Yes, others? What do others think? All of the above? Please answer. I will just move to this page so that you can read it once more.
Sir, the first option.
Finding something that has not uh, been known before. So I will just give a brief about that. After that, maybe most of you will be able to answer it properly. So what is the difference between inventions and discoveries? So there are in our research or whatever the scientific thing we are doing, maybe sometimes we invent or discover something. So what is the difference between? So our discovery,
Invention is a invention is when we uh, target to achieve something, and discovery is actually when we are not looking for something but we find it accidentally.
that is somehow correct, but that's not, it's not the correct definition. But you are just mixing those two of things, or you are I think interchanging. So what I will explain to you. A discovery is a product or a process that already exists but is unknown until someone discovers it. So it is already there. For example, rubber. Rubber is a discovery. Rubber was already there until someone discovered it. For example, the function of our brain. So it's already there, function of our brain. So maybe some of the researcher discovers it. So it is a discovery or function of the heart or anything. So it is just the discovery. So so it already exists there. It is there, but someone just discovers it. Someone just knows it was unknown for some time. So it is discovery, but invention is something which is modulated in the form of product, which gives something. For example, on the base from this rubber, some new thing is formed. There's a tire. So tire is made of the rubber, so tire is an invention. Discoveries often lead to inventions, and sometimes inventions can lead to discoveries, vice versa. So one other example of this, what is the difference between invention and discovery? For example, discoveries that I already told you, somebody has found something. It exists for a long time, but has recently been found. Someone has, for example, discovered an island, discovered different country, or discovered the brain function, liver function, all the things. But invention is when you develop something new. Something has been developed, something which has never been happened before. For example, development of this bulb, or development of the printing press, or development of tire, car, uh, this aircraft, ship, submarine. All these are inventions. They have not. They were not before there. Someone have just using different discoveries, using different things, literature. They have just made some new thing. That is the invention. So here the answer is finding something that has not been known before. So exact definition of discovery is, so discovery can be come from accident also. So it may be accidental outcome, but exact definition here is the true definition actually. The in question is written the true definition. So true definition is from finding something that has not been known before. Is it clear now? Am I clear now regarding this?
Yes, sir.
Now next question. In the statement, this is a statement that's written in two different colors, starting with these colons. I was born in India. India is the seventh largest country by area and second most populous country in the world. The text in the green and red represents what? So what this red represents and this green represents. Theory and hypothesis given a new concept, cause and consequence of the experiment, none of the above. Yes. What is the answer?
So please show the question once
Yes, yes,
again.
yes. I will show it once again. So the red and green part, you have to identify it. What is this? What this is really represent? Give me a minute. You can just answer. I'm here only. Yes, anyone?
Sir, theory and hypothesis.
Sir, theory and hypothesis.
Can anyone tell me what
Either
is?
theory and hypothesis or none of these. Could be two options.
Sir,
Theory
theory and hypothesis.
and hypothesis.
In last lecture, I have explained what is theory and what is hypothesis.
Sir, I was born in India. This is a fact. So this is a theory. According to that, the hypothesis is given that it is the seventh largest country and second most populous.
But this hypothesis, what is hypothesis? Every time we have to prove or disprove the hypothesis. If it is written there, India is the seventh largest country by area, then it is there. Uh, we don't have to prove anything about that. So definitely it will not be hypothesis.
So none
None
of
of
these.
these.
So none of these.
None of
None
these.
of these, yes, sir. None of
Unfortunately.
No,
these.
no, you are missing out something. This is given and new. It's not perfectly matching question, but if someone asks you,
So how can this be given and new?
I will tell you.
We all know by a fact that India is the second largest country and second most populated one.
Yes,
So how can this be a new
uh,
concept?
for example, no, it is not the new. Given and new doesn't mean that it is a new concept. Given and new means start with something that the person that you're explaining, he knows that, he's well aware of that, and new is maybe something new or something he doesn't know that. So it's not something which is all new now, not which is not known earlier. It's just that the style of writing. For
So,
example,
but it's a fact and everybody knows it.
yes, yes, yes. For example, you are in US, so some random guy or 10-year kid, he asks you where, what is your birth country? Where from are you? If you start, ma- maybe maybe you can directly tell him India, and sometimes when you are in foreign, you can explain about your country, some praise about your country. You cannot directly start this. Uh, I'm living in the seventh largest country in India, or third largest economy of India, third largest economy of the world, and second most populated country of the world, and I am living in India. You cannot start like this. So it will be, he will not be able to understand it. But if you want to tell him, I was born in India, now you are praising the India. So you can tell India is the second, third largest economy, or worldwide it is the seventh largest country by area, and you praise India. So this is the correct way of writing. So this is the given in new concept. So you have to start with something which everyone knows. So I was born in India. If you are telling this the 5 or 10 year guy, he will be able to understand it. You are born in India because he may be knowing India. Then if you are explaining something about India and you are praising India or giving some details about India, so that will be new to him. He will not be able to know that. If you are writing the same thing in the paper also, so in the paper, but this part, I was born in India, it will be known to everyone, readers. Maybe some of the readers who don't know much about the India. They are from other parts of the world. So it will be new to them. So if you are writing a paper about India, so first you have to write the simple things about India that is known to everyone. Then you have to do some new things. New doesn't mean they are new to India, but they are new to the readers, which uh, when they're reading your paper. Maybe some of the readers know them already, but it's fine that they follow the sequence also. And but if some of the readers even know it properly, but if you directly start with India is directly I'm live in the country which is the seventh largest country in the world. Those who even know that they will not be able to understand it. So you have to first start with the given ending. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
We'll move to the next question. The term scientifically acceptable general principle based on the experimental evidence refers to among these hypotheses, theory, law, common sense,
Law.
but is
Sir, theory.
Law.
scientifically
Sir,
acceptable
theory.
general principle based on experimental evidence. How many of you are saying law?
I am saying law.
Theory. Theory, sir. Theory.
You are saying theory, some of you are law. So it's actually the theory. Scientifically acceptable general principle based on some experimental evidence. So when you experimentally on the basis of experimental evidence, when you explain something, it's called theory. But law is something which has tested the time. For example, there was in last lecture, I will show you that. I will open that lecture. So law means, for example, there was which has based on some observations also, and which was also discovered, and every time it stood the test of time. So every time it was correct. Then in that case, it is a law, and it will never change. So that is a law. So here the answer is theory. Wait, I will. In week 1 lecture, I've explained this. You see, the hypothesis is an explanation of an observed phenomenon that I already told you. So you have observed something, on the basis of that, you give explanation that this may happen. So there are some of the examples, but theory and law is like this. The theory, the hypothesis that through time it was well established explanation by some of the aspects of the nature. Theories have predictive capability, so you can test the theory. A law is a natural law that is described by a sequence of events in nature and has been observed and occurred without a variation under the conditions. So law is law, so it will not vary in the same condition. Natural law is based on the experiment. Natural law is the basis of the experimental method in science and depends upon the cause and effect. So the question that it was written is the theory, the scientifically acceptable general principle. There was some general principle and based on some experimental evidence, so it becomes a theory. So if there has been no experimental evidence, then it was the hypothesis, some general principle. But now it is scientifically accepted and experimental evidence say that it's a theory. Which one of the following definitions of the hypothesis is accurate? Our observations around the world as it is, proposed explanation of a phenomena made as a starting point of the further investigation, a well-sustained explanation acquired through the scientific method, all of these. Which one of you or
Sir, all of this.
no?
B,
Sorry,
sir.
sir. Sorry, sir.
B,
It's B.
B,
B.
B, B, sir.
Mhm. So the first thing, how you can exclude it? Our observations. So we observe, but observations are not itself the hypothesis. It is written there as it is. So we observe a lot of things. So these will not be hypothesis. If you observe, but after observing, if you not be able to implement your common sense or your knowledge or your thinking, you will not be able to extract how hypothesis about it. So you have to then think. After thinking, then you can because is the uh, explanation of the phenomena. You have observed something, then after observing on the basis of your experience, your vision, and literature survey, you explain something. So the, the example that I was giving on because of the cold weather, the grass doesn't grow. So you cannot directly give the hypothesis. You have to observe it. You have to then give your thoughts on that. You have to read the literature, and then you can draft the hypothesis. So it's a proposed explanation of the phenomena made a starting point of investigation. So after that, you start it, but you have to give some explanation. So for giving the explanation, you have to write. You have to read a lot of literature. You should have some experience so that you can answer it. Going to the next question. In writing a research paper, a term or glass concept refers to preparing timeline and agreeing on the timeline for writing a submission research paper, using an hourglass for scientific reasoning, the structure of the research paper, starting with the general overview, narrowing to the
So
specific
option
aim.
three,
C,
And
sir. C,
mm,
C.
yes,
C.
yes, yes, this is correct. This is the hourglass notion of the research. So always whenever you start the research, for example, when you join somewhere in the PhD or some masters, we first begin with a broad question or broad research area. So if your PI asks you what you want to do, you will not directly send I want to work on this molecular pathway. First you will say I want to work on immunology. So this is the broad. Begin with the broad. And in immunology, what you want to do now? So the you do the research, you will do the research survey, different things you will read, different papers. Then you narrow down that this is the in immunology and maybe the cancer immunology. You narrow it down to cancer, and then in reading cancer immunology, you will read the papers. Then after narrowing down, focusing in, you will find out that this is the problem that you want to focus in. So on the basis of that, you do hypothesize, then observe, analyze the data, do your experiment, and on the basis of that, you will reach to the conclusion, some of the conclusion. And after conclusion, you have to generalize back to the original question, back to the broad. So, for example, you are working in some of the protein, and that protein is responsible for this cancer. Then you can generalize it. If we use this protein or target this protein, we may be able to cure the cancer. So you're broadening your aspect. You're not just sticking to the protein. I have discovered this. So you broaden and give your conclusion about this protein. So this is hourglass concept of the research, and always works. Always everyone will do like this. In writing the paper, you at the end of the conclusion discussion, you have to generalize. You have to give your inference. In the start introduction, you have to start with the broad things, start with the broad disease, and narrow it down. How in writing also in doing the research also this hourglasses concept is there. Then is a sentence is written there in these two colors. Several summers ago, there was a Scooty who went to the country for a visit. He decided that all of the farm dogs were cowards because they were afraid certain animals that had a white strips down in its back. So in this sentence, the text given in the blue and red font represents respectively. What does it represent? So here the same you have to. What do you think is the answer? So it is same given in you. So there is nothing. It can be other things also, but if you check the theory, this is not the theory. The red part is not the hypothesis. But it is not like the cause and consequences that because of this there are some consequences. So you may be this part you may be like this that this may be the hypothesis because he has observed some of these farm dogs they are covered because of they are afraid of certain things. So because of this, but this is not the this theory part. And this is not written, but this sentence can be the hypothesis, but it is not written in the form of hypothesis. If something is hypothesis, you have to write in that way, the hypothesis way. Like I have shown you the examples of hypothesis. So every time if you have some hypothesis, you have to write it in the same way. So like this. So you are just writing it like this that you know that this will surely happen. So this is a positive hypothesis. But there is also a null hypothesis of that. Usually we will focus on that. So this was all about today's lecture. Do you have any questions? So this is the
Sir, in the last lecture, you had talked about the Sci Hub and Library Genesis, but we were
yes.
not able to connect to that. They were saying that the connection is not private, so they were not able to open the file anything.
Okay, you are not able to open the papers, but it
Yes,
is
so in Sci Hub and Library
first
Genesis,
first
it was not working.
first check I have. So just I will open it. Before some time it was working. I don't know. There is anything.
Not every paper is available in Sci-Hub.
Yes, most of the new papers are not available.
Yes, yes, yes.
Some of the new papers, but you old papers you can find them there.
Yes,
I don't.
pre-2020, almost all the papers are available,
All the
but
papers are available.
recent papers are not available.
Mm-hmm. So I don't
Is it
know.
some problem with my
Mm,
connection, sir?
no, I don't think so. Can anyone check it? Is it working or not? Any other from the group? Actually, for me, it is not opening also. So they have 2 to 3 links. So if I, whenever you search the Sci-Hub, so there are two actually. I don't know if this is not working, so you can try this some another one. So there are different links. So keep trying different links. So like I have opened this one.
Sir, are there any specific requirements for this to
No,
work?
no, no,
Sci-Hub?
nothing. No, 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 nothing like that. No specific. Just need to have the internet connection. Like this is the 2020 paper, and this is available here. You can see this is available.
Sir, I'll try once again and then
Ha
I'll
ha.
get
Yes,
back to
do
you.
one thing. If this first website is not working, scihub.se, majorly I was using this whenever I was using. We have the access to most of the papers here, but sometimes if we don't have access to journals, so I
So
use
do
the
we
scihub.
have to put in the name of the title of the paper,
No,
or
no, no,
we
no,
can
no,
give a
no
topic
link.
also?
No,
We
link,
can
link.
give a topic.
No, not the topic. You have to use this DOI here or this link. Whenever you search the paper, this link you can directly open from. If I copy paste this link in the SciHub, so this link can also work.
By
From
topic, it will not give.
maybe, but every time you search the paper, so you have to actually you always will have this DOI or this link. You always will have that. So you don't have to search your papers in SciHub.
Okay, okay,
So
I'll
you have
try
to
it.
search.
Uh,
What? But please go ahead.
I was actually putting in my topic.
No, 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 no. You have
I was
to.
actually putting in my topic.
Yes, yes, yes. Topic it will not be able to search.
Okay,
So in the last lecture, I already told you people. So you search your papers using PubMed or Google Scholar or just the Google. But good way is to search using the PubMed. So if you have some of you have not attended that, so I have shown how to narrow down, how to specifically get your papers of your interest. So you can check last video also. It is there in my YouTube channel. So this is the YouTube channel. You can search this Ubaid but 55 or you can directly search my name. You recognize me using the profile picture of this cover. So you subscribe to this every
okay,
time I also take different these NPTEL lectures. You can also see that, and actually I have to upload these lectures to my YouTube channel, and then I will share YouTube link to the NPTEL people, and then using the YouTube it becomes easy for them also because if I directly send them the video,
okay,
then a lot of space will be required. But now I'm sending the
okay.
link, so I have to anyhow upload these videos there. So you are also advised to just if you miss something, so it will be beneficial to you also. So
Okay.
what I already told you in last lecture, you just search your papers from Sci-Hub, Google Scholar, and then identify the paper that this paper you want to read. First, you maybe use these papers are available there, but you don't have to search in the site. Maybe the full version is available, open access. Even some of if some of the paper is not there, then you have to go to Sci-Hub and you have to search that paper if it is in the Sci-Hub or not, if the full download.
Okay, sir.
Only those papers for which you are getting only abstract and nothing behind that, and it is saying that pay for them. You don't have the access to this. Only those papers you have to search in the Sci-Hub. Rest all the things in the PubMed or Google Scholar. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, this video will be available on this YouTube channel. Merlin. This video will be available here, so you can subscribe. All the videos I always upload there. So anyone have any other question?
No, sir.
So if there are no questions, we can conclude then. So I hope you will join the next lectures also as we move ahead with the introduction and introduction this results methodology section. I will you will actually learn these in the lectures, but I will show you practically. I will do some practice sessions, so you will be really helpful to you all of you guys. Please join next session also. It will be helpful. So thank you so much for joining. I will now conclude this meeting. So see you next week. So you all can leave the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you for joining.